Warm welcome to Disky Talk with Luyolo. If you're tuning in for the very first time, I do ask that you please subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you've been a part of this journey, I hope you thoroughly enjoy this episode. So, on today's episode, I discuss all things Kylian Mbappe, Real Madrid, and PSG. So, when you do have a look at Kylian Mbappe, this is a player then who did start his career at Monaco. He then moved to PSG, where then he was doing very, very well. However, we do know that his contract is coming to an end, so he is free to join the team of his choice. But when you have a look at it then, the last transfer window, last year, what happened is Real Madrid offered PSG over 160 million to sign Kylian Mbappe. However, PSG turned it down. And a lot of people felt that PSG should have actually taken this money because a year from then, Mbappe would be free to leave. And this is where we currently find ourselves. And it is reported that Kylian Mbappe has agreed personal terms with Real Madrid. And the latest coming out is that PSG are trying to persuade Kylian Mbappe to stay, and they've offered him around £4 million a month for him to stay. So it is a lot of money that PSG are looking to offer Kylian Mbappe so that they do persuade him to stay. However, it does seem as if Kylian Mbappe will go on to join Real Madrid because he has mentioned it a lot of times that he would like to go on and join Real Madrid, and it has become very, very clear. And for him to turn down multiple contract offers that he's received from PSG in the past couple of years, and it just says that he's got his sights set on Real Madrid. And if the reports are anything to go by with regards to him agreeing personal terms with Real Madrid, then he is as good as gone. Personally, I think that Kylian Mbappe will end up at Real Madrid, as I do foresee that this is a great opportunity for him to go and test himself outside of the French league, as he's been in the French league for so many years. And if he wants to take then his career to the next level, because we do know that the French league is considered a farmers' league, and it is considered to be one of the easier or one of the weaker leagues within Europe. But if this is a player then who wants to go on and win the Ballon d'Or and go on to become a great within the sport, then I think going to Real Madrid would do very well for him, because then when you go to Real Madrid, you're going to compete in the Spanish La Liga, which is a very, very strong league. Some would consider it to be the second best league in Europe after the English Premier League. And he also then stands a very good chance of competing within UEFA Champions League and going on to win UEFA Champions League, especially considering then how well Real Madrid have done this season within the UEFA Champions League and the type of players, the experience they have with Carlo Ancelotti, who's been there, done that, won the Champions League previously, and the squad that they have that is filled with so much experience and that have won the UEFA Champions League multiple times. And also considering that they are linked to various players, so they are looking to strengthen, and considering then that they have won La Liga again. So Real Madrid then do look very strong to be able to extend that dominance within La Liga and look to compete and look to win the Champions League this season and go again next season, of course. So for me, the move is Real Madrid for Kylian Mbappe. However, the big question then is, if he were to move to Real Madrid, where would he fit in? So when you do have a look at Carlo Ancelotti's Real Madrid, they are a fluid side with regards to how then Carlo Ancelotti looks to adapt to the personnel that he has. So he's not a coach then who is fixated on a certain game model, but he does like to adapt to the type of players that he has. And he is quite fluid then in his thinking and his approach from a tactical perspective. So when you do have a look at Real Madrid's strongest 11, we are looking at a 4-3-3. So in goals, you've got Thibaut Courtois. At left back, you've got Ferland Mendy, you've got David Alaba, you've got Militao, and then at right back, you've got Dani Carvajal. So that is the back four then that Real Madrid would normally go with. Within the heart of midfield, you've got Casemiro, you've got Toni Kroos, you've got Luka Modric as well. And then off the left, you do have Vini Jr., you've got Benzema up front, and then off the right, So they've gone with Asensio. Sometimes they've gone with Rodrigo. Sometimes they've started with Valverde, who would then at times then look to come into the midfield, and it would sort of become somewhat of that shape when you look at it from an overall perspective. You know, at times it does then become a 4-2-3-1. You know, if for example, Valverde is in the lineup, because then you would have Modric go there. Then you would have the double pivot of Toni Kroos and Casemiro. You'd have Valverde, but Valverde tucks in a lot more, which then gives the space for Carvajal to go, because then Valverde is a natural midfield player, so he's always looking to come in, and he doesn't always offer you that natural width as a winger. So that is how Real Madrid have gone about things. And the big question, of course, is where then does Mbappe fit in? So I do think it will be a 4-3-3. And I think then Mbappe would come off the right, especially considering then how well Vini Jr. has done off the left. And you obviously have Benzema up front. But I do think that Vini and Mbappe could look to exchange a lot of the times. But when you have a look at the development of Vini Jr. down the left-hand side, I think he's developed really, really well. And I don't think that is something that you want to undo, especially considering then when you have a look at Mbappe, this is a very intelligent footballer, very mobile. Yes, he can play off the right-hand side. He can play off the left-hand side. He can play up front, but his strongest position, I believe, is when he comes off the left-hand side. But you've got Vini Jr. here. But because I did mention that with Real Madrid and Carlo Ancelotti, it does tend to be fluid at times, as you would even see Benzema looking to drop into that left-sided half space. Mbappe then could always take up that central role if the ball is on the left-hand side, and vice versa if it is on the right-hand side. So I do foresee then Mbappe coming off the right-hand side, but he could look to occupy the inside forward role a lot more, sort of the right-sided half space, as opposed to him offering the width all the time, because this is a player then who has become quite comfortable with regards to playing in between the lines at times, whenever he has to come and collect the ball and look then to advance play when he's looking to turn within those half spaces and those tight pockets of space. Of course, that is further up the pitch, you know, not deep in the half spaces, but further up the pitch. And a player who can play centrally as well, because when you do have a look at his footwork and you have a look at his technical ability within those tight pockets, he has improved a lot over the years, and a player who's very comfortable on the ball. And because then he is a goal scorer, he is a player then that does tend to drift a lot more into the danger zones, that is being zone 14 and the box itself. And then at times he could look to swap with Vini, you know, and if he does come off the left, this is where I think Kylian Mbappe is at his most dangerous, by virtue of the fact that he does then look to occupy that left-sided half space further up the pitch, and he plays a lot closer to the box. And the nice thing with him then is that he's very, very quick. So whenever he is faced with the fullback, then this is a player then who can go on the inside, and he can also go on the outside, because he's very, very, very quick. But he always looks to come in onto the inside, but if the inside is blocked off, he can still beat you on the outside and look to bring back across. So this is a player then that will come in handy for Real Madrid, and you add him to that front three, because I just feel that as good as Real Madrid have been within La Liga and in UEFA Champions League, I've just felt that they've missed a third player within the front three. So Vini Jr. has done very well, Benzema has done very well, but then you've got Rodrigo, you've got Asensio and Valverde, who would sometimes occupy that right-sided position within the front three, but they haven't been consistent with regards to that. When you add Kylian Mbappe to this Real Madrid side, then he does give you that consistency. He gives you that mobility as well, because then he can look to swap with Vini Jr., and he can also then look to occupy the box as well, because he is a goal scorer. So another great thing then is that he brings the skill, he brings the speed, he brings then the ability then to obviously minus players, and he's also a big match player, and a player then who's won many trophies. He's won the World Cup, and a player who, as much as he is 23, but he's done so much, you know, within football, and he's won trophies, and he's done very well for himself. And I think this is the move for him to take his game to the next level. And when you do have a look at him and Vinny Jr., because a lot of people would look at them and ask, what is the difference? So with Vinny Jr., as much as Vinny Jr. comes off the left, the thing about Vinny Jr. is Vinny Jr. does enjoy a much more wider position on the left-hand side. So with Vinny Jr., he does take up the role of a wide dribbler. So he can, at times, play that inside forward role, where then he does occupy the half space. With Vinny Jr., he occupies vertical zone 1. With Kylian Mbappe, he occupies vertical zone 2, which is the left-sided half space. So that is the difference with regards to their average positioning. You know, Vinny Jr. would be a lot wider, whereas Kylian Mbappe would be a lot more tucked in within the half space. Nonetheless, though, I do foresee them being teammates and them being able then to help Real Madrid to extend the dominance within La Liga going into next season, and them looking then to challenge and go on to win the UEFA Champions League next season, you know, and them then becoming a formidable side that is able then to win those big trophies again, because we do know that Real Madrid in yesteryears, they were doing very well, especially in UEFA Champions League, where they won it 3 times in a row. You know, it's just in the past couple of years, they did tail off, but it does look like now that they are then in good stead to actually go on and extend the dominance within La Liga and go on then to compete thoroughly within UEFA Champions League. And adding Kylian Mbappe to this side, then I think it'll do wonders for this Real Madrid side. Also factor in that you've got Karim Benzema, so the two of them have developed a very good partnership from the French national team as well. And also considering then that you do have a Toni Kroos in there, you've got Casemiro, you've got Luka Modric, you do have Valverde as well, you've got Rodrigo, there is Eden Hazard. So there's so many quality players within this Real Madrid side that would complement a Kylian Mbappe when he does come into this side, and he could look to offer then Real Madrid more goals as well, you know. And I just think that Real Madrid won't be heavily reliant on Benzema to bail them out a lot of the time. But now that you have a Kylian Mbappe, and then you've got a Vinny Jr. who keeps improving, then you've got 3 players then for next season who you could rely on. Big match players, you know, and you also have an Eden Hazard. If he does work his way back to full fitness, he's able to stay fit. That is a player who can also come into the side, add that quality. There's Rodrigo as well, who can also add that quality. So when you do have a look at Real Madrid overall, then this is a side then that is building a team that will be very, very strong for years to come. Also within the heart of midfield, you've got Camavinga, you've got Valverde, well and able then to replace a Modric for next season. If Modric then does start to get phased out. So this Real Madrid side, when you have a look at them then from a midfield perspective and from a front 3 perspective, they've got a lot of options, and they could look then to extend their dominance within La Liga and look then to reclaim the glory days within UEFA Champions League underneath Carlo Ancelotti. So ladies and gentlemen, do let me know at home, what do you make of Kylian Mbappe potentially moving to Real Madrid, and with PSG trying then to lure him to actually stay and convince him and persuade him by offering him then £4 million a month. So if you did enjoy this episode, please do subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment, like, and share the link as well. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in to yet another special episode of Diski Talk with Luyolo. Signing out.